The Galactic Council's observation deck hummed with the familiar symphony of interspecies communication, electromagnetic pulses, bioluminescent displays, and subsonic rumbles that had become as routine as breathing. Today's agenda promised exceptional entertainment, watching the galaxy's newest member species fumble through their mandatory military assessment. "Pathetic," chittered Ambassador Xi, their crystalline form casting rainbow fractals across the viewing platform. These humans couldn't hit Moon if they were standing on its surface. Below, in the cavernous testing arena, humanity's finest were making a spectacular fool of themselves. The facility stretched over 2 kilometers, its adaptive terrain systems generating everything from urban rubble to alien forest environments. Holographic obstacles flickered in and out of existence, while targets, ranging from static practice dummies to advanced combat simulators, awaited engagement. Colonel Sarah Chen, a weathered woman whose gray-streaked hair spoke of decades in uniform, had specifically requested this demonstration. Her 5-soldier team stood in loose formation, their primitive projectile weapons raised toward distant targets. The cracking reports of their firearms echoed through the arena in an irregular, almost random pattern. 21 shots fired, 4 targets hit, the arena's AI announced with digital disapproval. Current accuracy, 19.0%. Recommendation, immediate cessation of assessment. The spectacle was drawing commentary from across the galactic community. Ambassador Thek Moore of the Warcast, whose own species achieved 98% accuracy ratings, gestured dismissively with all 6 arms. "Perhaps we should advance directly to cognitive testing. Their hand-eye coordination appears evolutionarily stunted." Dr. Yel Nira of the Scientific Collective was frantically taking readings. "Their neural patterns show no signs of impairment. The weapons appear functional. I cannot comprehend this level of incompetence." What puzzled the observers most was the humans' demeanor. Despite their embarrassing performance, the soldiers displayed no signs of frustration, panic, or shame. They moved with quiet confidence, calling out coordinates and tactical observations as if executing a complex strategy rather than failing a basic marksmanship test. "Observers are growing concerned," transmitted the arena's diplomatic protocol system directly to Colonel Chen. "Perhaps a demonstration of human intellectual capabilities would better serve." "Negative, Control." Chen's voice carried that particular tone career military personnel reserved for polite insubordination. "We appreciate the Council's patience. The demonstration is proceeding exactly as planned." "Getting started?" The phrase rippled through the observation deck like a shockwave, translated into dozens of languages and communication frequencies. Several ambassadors exchanged what could only be described as the universal expression of bemused disbelief. Vrak Tur, the Korthok Empire's military attaché, adjusted their multifaceted optical sensors for maximum clarity. The Korthok had earned their reputation as the galaxy's deadliest warriors through centuries of conquest. Their plasma rifle accuracy in similar assessments routinely exceeded 97%. Watching these humans spray projectiles wildly across the arena was almost physically painful to witness. "Their weapon systems appear to be malfunctioning," suggested Dr. Yel Nira, their analytical appendages working overtime to process the incomprehensible scene below. No sentient species could naturally perform this poorly with ranged weaponry. The human soldiers had begun spreading across the arena floor, their movements taking on a different quality. Where before they had stood in neat formation, now they flowed like liquid between cover positions, abandoned vehicles, artificial rock formations, and modular barrier systems. Their communication had evolved from simple target callouts to rapid-fire tactical coordination. "Contact, bearing 270, elevation 15. Suppressive fire on the bunker complex. Flanking movement, advance by fire and maneuver." Yet their marksmanship somehow managed to deteriorate further. Projectiles sparked off walls meters from intended targets, shattered decorative holographic displays, and sent clouds of pulverized concrete drifting through the arena's atmospheric processors. The cacophony of ricochets and impacts created a chaotic symphony that had never been heard in the sterile precision of previous assessments. 57 shots expended, 9 confirmed hits, the AI reported with what might have been electronic exasperation. Accuracy rating, 15.8%. Urgent recommendation, medical evaluation for neurological impairment. Ambassador Zekhai's crystalline structure flickered with what their species used for incredulous laughter. I've observed juvenile Zephyrians with toy weapons demonstrate superior marksmanship. Perhaps we should offer basic motor skills training before attempting advanced military. The ambassador's patronizing commentary died mid-frequency as something fundamental shifted in the arena's atmosphere. Warning lights began pulsing along the facility's control surfaces, and the deep thrumming of awakening machinery vibrated through the observation deck's reinforced structure. The automated combat assessment was entering its next phase. The transformation began subtly, a barely perceptible shift in the arena's harmonic frequency that sent ripples of unease through the observation deck. Hidden panels slid open with mechanical precision, revealing deployment bays that had remained sealed throughout the human's embarrassing marksmanship display. Rising from their concealed positions like metallic predators, the automated combat drones represented the pinnacle of galactic military engineering. Each unit stood 3 meters tall, their sleek titanium ceramic chassis housing shield generators capable of deflecting plasma cannon fire, targeting computers that could track a gnat across 3 star systems, and weapon arrays powerful enough to level city blocks. Standard protocol dictated a 30-second warning period, allowing test subjects time to acknowledge the new threat level and prepare appropriate defensive measures. But as the 12 silver death machines achieved full operational status, their sensor arrays immediately locked onto the human soldiers with predatory intensity. Weapon ports began cycling through charging sequences, energy signatures building toward lethal output levels. Critical malfunction detected, the arena's safety systems announced with unusual urgency. Drone targeting protocols have bypassed non-lethal parameters. Immediate subject evacuation recommended. The observation deck erupted into chaos. Ambassador Theks surged to their full height, their massive frame casting shadows across half the viewing area while their 6 arms gestured frantically at control surfaces. Dr. Yel Nira's analytical organs were strobing in patterns that indicated extreme distress, their calculations running worst-case casualty projections. Several smaller ambassadors began broadcasting emergency frequencies in languages that predated galactic civilization. "Override the drones," Vraktur barked at the control technicians. "Those machines will annihilate them." Through the cacophony of alien panic, Colonel Chen's voice cut with remarkable clarity. "Negative, Control. We're in good position down here. Continue the exercise as planned." Have they lost their collective minds? Ambassador Zekhai's crystalline form was flickering so rapidly it resembled a malfunctioning hologram. Those are military-grade combat units. The first drone acquired target lock. Its primary weapon array began the final charging cycle, energy readings climbing toward lethal discharge levels. The human soldiers, impossibly, seemed completely unperturbed by their imminent annihilation. If anything, they appeared to be positioning themselves with deliberate precision. Drone Alpha 7 opened fire with a beam that could have carved through a starship's hull. Ambassador Zekhai's crystalline structure flickered with what their species used for incredulous laughter. I've observed juvenile Zephyrians with toy weapons demonstrate superior marksmanship. Perhaps we should offer basic motor skills training before attempting advanced military. The ambassador's patronizing commentary died mid-frequency as something fundamental shifted in the arena's atmosphere. Warning lights began pulsing along the facility's control surfaces, and the deep thrumming of awakening machinery vibrated through the observation deck's reinforced structure. The automated combat assessment was entering its next phase. What followed defied every tactical doctrine in the galactic military database. The superheated energy beam from Drone Alpha 7 carved through the air with surgical precision, aimed directly at Sergeant Martinez's center mass. By every calculation, the human should have been vaporized instantly. Instead, Martinez flowed like liquid mercury, his body already in motion before the weapon had finished charging, not away from the beam, but toward a specific coordinate that seemed to exist only in his mind. His rifle cracked once, the projectile striking not the drone, but a seemingly random support beam 12 meters to the drone's left. The impact sent a cascade of sparks showering downward, each glowing fragment following precise ballistic trajectories. The drone's beam struck the metallic debris cloud, diffracting into dozens of smaller beams that found their way into the arena's primary power coupling array with mathematical impossibility. "Impossible," Dr. Nero whispered, their analytical organs working at dangerous overload levels. He calculated a multi-vector ricochet pattern while under direct fire. The computational requirements alone. Drone Beta 3 swiveled with mechanical precision toward Private Johnson, its targeting computer achieving perfect lock within 0.003 seconds. Johnson's response seemed like pure panic. His shot went wide by nearly 2 meters, striking what appeared to be empty air. The observation deck's collective intelligence began composing obituaries. But the projectile found its true target, a nearly invisible support cable that held Section 7 Alpha of the arena's modular ceiling system in perfect suspension. The cable parted with a metallic whisper. 3 tons of reinforced construction material dropped like divine judgment, transforming Beta 3 into an expensive metallic pancake in less time than it took most species to form a coherent thought. "Impossible calculations," Vrokter breathed, their warrior's instincts finally beginning to comprehend the elegant lethality unfolding below. They're not missing their targets. Captain Reeves rolled behind cover as drones Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 converged on her position with coordinated precision. Her shots seemed desperate, random. One struck the arena wall, another hit floating debris, a third punched through what looked like meaningless machinery. Each impact appeared to be the result of pure desperation rather than tactical planning. Until the consequences began cascading through the arena's interconnected systems like dominoes falling in dimensions the observers couldn't perceive. The wall shot created a precisely calculated ricochet that severed Drone Gamma 1's primary sensor array, sending the machine into automatic diagnostic mode. The debris shot launched a chunk of twisted metal that struck Gamma 2's weapon port at exactly the angle needed to jam its firing mechanism. The machinery shot, seemingly the most random of all, severed a fiber optic cable controlling the arena's adaptive terrain system. The floor section beneath both drones tilted 30 degrees with hydraulic precision, sending millions of credits worth of military hardware sliding helplessly into a pit trap that materialized as if summoned by tactical sorcery. Environmental warfare. Colonel Chen's voice carried across the arena with the calm authority of someone explaining basic physics to confused students. Her rifle tracked another target through her scope while she spoke, never breaking concentration. "The fundamental difference between your species and ours, ambassadors, isn't marksmanship, it's philosophy." Corporal Washington's next shot appeared to miss Drone Delta 4 by half a meter. A failure so complete it would have been embarrassing in basic training. Instead, his projectile struck a chemical processing tank with surgical precision. The resulting cloud of reactive industrial gas spread in a perfect hemisphere around the drone's position. "Your civilizations developed in environments where direct confrontation was advantageous," Chan continued, her tone remaining conversational, even as Delta 4's energy weapon ignited the gas cloud in a controlled explosion that overloaded the drone's shield generators and sent it crashing into the arena wall. "Superior technology, overwhelming firepower, efficient target elimination. You've optimized your entire military doctrine around that philosophy." Dr. Nero's analytical organs were strobing in patterns that hadn't been seen since their species' first contact with quantum mechanics. The computational requirements for simultaneous multivariable environmental modeling, even our most advanced battle computers would require several minutes to process these calculations. But humans, Chen's rifle cracked again, the shot striking what appeared to be random arena equipment, evolved as persistence hunters on a world where direct confrontation meant death. We learned to think in systems, in cascades, in environmental manipulation. We learned that the most efficient way to eliminate a threat isn't always to attack the threat directly. Hydraulic fluid began spraying from the damaged system, creating an expanding slick across the arena floor, perfectly positioned for the next phase of engagement. Drone Epsilon 2, seeking elevated tactical advantage, engaged its anti-gravity propulsion at maximum thrust toward a raised platform. The sophisticated war machine hit the expanding hydraulic slick at precisely the velocity needed to overwhelm its stabilization systems. Physics became the enemy as the drone careened helplessly into the arena wall, its million-credit targeting computer reduced to expensive scrap metal spinning through the air. Ambassador Zex-High's crystalline structure had ceased all organized light refraction, their species equivalent of cognitive overload. The variables, the calculations required to predict secondary and tertiary cascade effects, it defies logical possibility. Actually, it doesn't require calculations at all, interrupted Dr. Marcus Webb, rising from the human delegation seating area with the quiet confidence of someone about to revolutionize galactic military theory. His datapad activated, projecting a three-dimensional holographic map of the entire engagement zone. The display was breathtaking in its complexity. Trajectory lines intersected like a spider's web of deadly precision. Impact points glowed with probability matrices, and cascade effect chains branched through the arena's infrastructure like the roots of some mathematical tree. Every seemingly random shot was revealed as part of an interconnected tactical symphony. Sergeant Martinez's opening shot, Webb indicated a specific trajectory line, wasn't intended to damage drone Alpha 7. It was calculated to weaken support structure 12 Delta precisely enough that when Private Johnson needed to bring down ceiling section 7 Alpha 43 seconds later, the structural integrity would fail at exactly the right moment. Dr. Yelnira's analytical organs were glowing so intensely they were becoming visible through their protective carapace. Impossible! The computational matrix for simultaneous environmental modeling at this scale would require our most advanced quantum processors running for standard hours. "You're still thinking like machines," Webb replied, with the patient smile of a professor addressing particularly stubborn students. "Humans don't calculate this consciously. We pattern match. 10,000 years of evolutionary programming taught us to recognize environmental opportunities and exploit them instinctively." The holographic display zoomed in on Captain Reeves' engagement sequence, showing how her three apparently desperate shots had created a perfect trap for two separate drones. "We're not running mathematical models in real time. We're trusting genetic memory that taught us how to survive against superior predators by making the entire world our weapon." On the arena floor below, the final confrontation was reaching its inevitable conclusion. Drone Delta 1, the facility's most advanced combat unit, remained technically superior in every measurable category. Its shields hummed at full power, weapon systems showed green across all indicators, and its targeting computer maintained perfect operational status. By conventional military doctrine, it should have easily eliminated all 5 human soldiers. Instead, it found itself trapped in a position where every possible tactical move would trigger one of a dozen interconnected environmental hazards the humans had methodically constructed throughout the engagement. The machine's advanced AI was caught in an endless loop of probability calculations, each potential action leading to certain destruction through cascading system failures. "Assessment complete," announced the arena's bewildered AI, its voice carrying undertones of electronic confusion that hadn't existed in its programming until this moment. "Direct target accuracy, 27 confirmed hits from 214 shots fired. Statistical accuracy rating, 12.6%. However, all 12 combat drones neutralized through environmental manipulation. Tactical Innovation Index, 847% above established baseline parameters. Combat Effectiveness Rating, unprecedented in galactic military database. The observation deck remained suspended in absolute silence for several heartbeats before Vrok-Tefir initiated what could only be described as deliberately ceremonial applause, a gesture learned from studying human cultural archives. "Extraordinary," the Korthak warrior declared with genuine admiration. "Absolutely extraordinary tactical demonstration." Ambassador Thek Moore's 6 arms moved in complex patterns, conveying both profound respect and slightly embarrassed recognition of their earlier misconceptions. "We have significantly underestimated your species' military capabilities and strategic thinking." Colonel Chen and her soldiers stood at attention in the center of the devastated arena, surrounded by millions of credits worth of sophisticated technology that had been transformed into elaborate scrap metal sculptures. "With respect, honored ambassadors, you didn't underestimate our military potential. You made the fundamental error that every opponent throughout human history has made. You assumed that because we don't fight according to your established paradigms, we don't understand warfare." Dr. Webb stepped forward, his datapad still displaying the intricate web of tactical calculations. "The galaxy's dominant civilizations have optimized for efficiency, direct solutions, overwhelming technological superiority. In most circumstances, that represents the optimal approach to conflict resolution.